This is a Monster and an Axeman movie. This is Monster. This is Axeman. And I want to tell you what's going to be different next week. So this is Bright Week. Christ is risen. Christos aneste. Christou numuriuku. Christo amafufuka. Kweli amafufuka. That's the last is Swahili. And now he's looking at his mom, who's doing the camera work. Usually I do this by myself. So we'll see how much we get out of them. So this week, there was no fasting whatsoever. You are required, this is Friday, you're required to eat meat or pizza or both today. It's an absolute canon law that you have to eat something that's not fasting today. And on Wednesday, all of this week was not fasting. All of this week is considered to be one day, like Paschal. So the liturgy has been just like Paschal every single day. Just a minute, munched. Just a minute, munched. See? We're getting a lot of action out of munched. Not so much out of Axeman. No. Come over here, Mom. You can hold Munch next to me. You can be part of the movie. Be part of...
over here.
No! She's got to come to be part of the movie. Come on. No, she didn't do any makeup today. Come on.
No.
So, she's shy. Come on, you got to come. You got to come. Come on. No, you got to come.
Take
no,
Sully.
He's got to cry. You got to come.
I'm not coming.
Oh.
Stop it.
Come over here. Okay, now this is just an Axeman movie because the camera person is a chicken. So these are some things that are different this coming week. First of all, Saturday, there's a big difference. There's going to be a hymn during the Lord I Have Cried in which we say, while the doors were shut. And then we close the doors. That's a very sad moment. The doors are open right now because God's grace is flowing out to us and the resurrection makes us able to be perfected. So the doors are open because it's showing the joy and the grace of God is apparent for all of us. But we can't handle all of that. If we have too much relaxation, then we fall into sins. So we have to close the doors. So that's one thing. So the doors will just be like normal from now on. You want to come over here? Come over here. Come on, your mom wants you to come over here. Oh. So, now you're going to make him cry? You're going to make him cry again. Oh. Having a chicken camera person, it's just... Fortunately, I'm not paying her union rate. So, that's one difference. And another difference is that we didn't fast at all this week. We will start fasting next week. But the fasting is less than at any other time of the year, except for when we're not fasting at all. So for instance, on Wednesdays and Fridays, almost all of them are wine and oil days. It's required to have a glass of wine on those days, or to have a glass of single malt scotch on those days. You're not allowed to have blended scotch. Christians were barbarians. We came out of the barbarians. You don't want to act like a barbarian. You want to have single malt scotch.
Do you have to have a glass of oil?
You can just fry things. Chicken fried steak, well, not on Wednesday though. Fried fish. Most of the days you'll also be able to have fish. So it's fasting, but it's less fasting. And you can learn about God by not fasting as well as fasting. Now, if you never fast, then you don't know anything. But if you fast, then the days that you're not fasting, we remember God. So that's a difference. Another difference is that all this week I tell my flock to say the Paschal hours for their prayers. And we don't say the Paschal hours again. You can say them as much as you want. I think they're great to say, but they're not done in the church anymore. And also, we start singing the Psalter. The Psalter is, Father Nicholas gave a great explanation about it. The Psalter is about all aspects of life. There's things about the resurrection in the Psalter, but there's things about the crucifixion, there's things about sin, there's things about all kinds of things. And on Pascha, and the week, which is now, we're in the midst of Pascha, one day of Pascha, it's about only about the resurrection, only about joy. So we start saying the Psalter next week. Things that shouldn't change. Well, first of all, you better be reading the Gospel of John. If you're not, you're doing it wrong. You should be reading the Gospel of John because we're reading it in the church now. So read it. You got 6 weeks to read it. That gives you a chance to read it once a week, right? read the Gospel of John all the way through once a week, you can do it. It's beautiful to do it that way. You'd be amazed how much you start to learn it. And also we're reading the Acts of the Apostles. So you can go back to doing the Psalter next week, and you can continue reading the Gospel of John. And don't make the mistake of going, oh, Paschal, oh, now I can take a rest. On Palm Sunday, I can just, put my feet up. Don't do that. You come for Palm Sunday. Thomas Sunday. Thomas Sunday. My cameraman, hidden over there, is giving me corrections. Actually, I won't let her hide. She won't let me show her. She's such a chicken. So, those are some of the differences. You close the doors. Now we're fasting, but it's a lesser fasting, but it's still fasting. And we're reading the Psalter. We go, and saying your communion prayers. So all this week, at least our practices, for communion prayers, for the Thanksgiving prayers, you're saying Christ is risen. We'll go back to say the Thanksgiving prayers and the preparation prayers, which is in the back of the book, the canon and the prayers. I think there's 10 prayers that you say, and the 3 psalms. You do all of that starting Saturday night. Those are some of the differences and some of the similarities. Christ is risen. Now say hello to your camera person. There she is. She's just a big baby. There she is right there. Say Christ is risen.
Christ is risen.